Welcome to the world of terror. When I'm not busy embalming bodies, which isn't often, I like to relax with some good family reading. Let me introduce you to my personal library of Fangoria, the leader in horror entertainment.
Hey, we're back! And now we're talking about Fangoria'S. I know we're not talking about comics, but what are you going to do? I have my headphones on for some reason. I don't even know why. I think the reason is they're doing road work outside my house, and it is loud, and I'm sure it's going to kick in at some point. Yeah, I wanted to make this video a little different. I am a huge comic guy, as you have noticed, but I'm a really big horror movie magazine guy, especially when it relates to movies. And Fangoria is the book for me. As a kid, I wasn't allowed it. It wasn't a thing I was allowed to do. It was, if you brought it to school, you'd get in a lot of trouble. It was full of gory pictures. It was the greatest. As a lot of you know, I'm in the film industry, and it was kind of the thing that led me to film. And one thing I've noticed on YouTube is that nobody talks about Fangoria'S. Like, they're just not a thing. And sorry, I'm just messing around with my computer here. And that sucks, because Fangoria'S are the coolest. And there was a time in the late 80s and early 90s where Fangoria were really collected, like heavily collected. They were a big deal. It wasn't just kids buying them, it was adults. And there was a time when there was a company called Fangoria Enterprises that did ads, and you could buy your back issues through them generally. And man, there was some pricey books. But those days are done, but some of the books are worth a little bit. But I wanted to just kind of go through the first like 40 issues and kind of like show you some keys, show you some of the neat covers. You know, there's a few of us out there that still love this sort of thing. I know this is a bit of an esoteric video, but I don't give a shit. I love Fangos. Fango forever. And we're going to start off with the book that I spent a lot of time trying to find as a kid. This is number one. Big G fan, Mr. Godzilla in the front cover. I actually got two, which is pretty nice. One of these is gorgeous. I think it's this one. It is gorgeous. And my big goal with these Fangoria'S right now is to collect 1 through 100 in 9.4 or higher. One of the big issues with Fangoria is that they're published like shit. Like, they literally, they went the cheapest route they could go. It's terrible newsprint. The covers themselves fall apart really easily. And one of the big issues is a lot of people just read the hell out of them. And I was just very fortunate that over time I've been able to kind of acquire some truly near mint copies. And my big goal, I would love a 9.8 run. I just don't think that's realistic. But 9.4 or higher from 1 through 100 is my goal. It's going to take a while. The best thing about it is they're not really all that expensive. A lot of these keys can be had for very little, under $50 for most, especially raw, especially if you go looking around, and you'll find them for sale. But the issue is the condition. If you're looking for over 8.0 even, you're going to have a real problem finding them. A lot of people will call them near mint, and they're not. I've bought so many books on eBay thinking they were near mint and found out that they were just falling apart. Even the pictures lied. But anyway, so number one is the Godzilla issue. This is the first issue. Apparently it was going to be called something else. I think it was called Phantasmagoria or something like that before that. But somebody sued them. So they changed the name at the last minute to Fangoria. I was told that originally it was actually pronounced Fangoria. And then everyone kind of changed that to Fangoria, which, you know, makes sense. But anyway, issue 1 is a big key. Obviously, it's a big key. It's the number 1 issue. The 9.8s can be had in the $450 to about $650 range, depending on the day, depending on the collector looking for it, depending on how much they're selling it for. People, you know, which isn't crazy expensive for a 9.8 of a very hard to get series. I have more issues. We'll go issue 2. Nice little prophecy cover. So the first few issues weren't really all that gory. They were more of a sci-fi magazine. And I didn't collect these because I was too young. I saw them and I wanted them. But my brother and I bought, instead of this, we bought Starlog, which was a little bit easier to bring home to mom. What else do I got here? I got issue... Ooh, this is a good one. I like the Saturn 3. God, I love these covers. Oh, where am I here? I'm on the webcam, so I don't know where I am. So it's Saturn 3 with Hector, the robot. They were starting to get a little bit more horror orientated as we went along. Here's a good one, 7. This is a good Jack Nicholson cover. One thing you'll notice with these books, they're harder to get the darker the cover. Obviously, that's a thing in comics too, but this is definitely the case with Fangoria. So if you have a darker cover, it took me a while to get in a true near mint. I'm very happy to have it. So, ooh, a little zombie cover. These books here, the ones I've just kind of pushed through here, the 2 through 8, are not worth a ton. I mean, generally, it can be had from anywhere from about $15 to about $30. I guess if you were to get CGC copies, it would go for quite a bit more. But I can't imagine more than $150 per book at 9.8 even. There just isn't the demand at the moment, which I think is a damn shame. So we're going to get into rarer books, like the ones that we're supposed to think are rare. So this was a copy, issue 9. I got 4 of them, it looks like. I actually have more, but this is the 4 nicest copies. These are 4 near mint copies. I would say each of these, the lowest grade here would be 9.2 on this one, but the rest of them are 9.4 or higher. They're just perfect copies. And it took me literally 30 years to find these. I'm very happy to have these. So this is the book I talked in my last video. When I was a kid, I saw this. This was the first Fango I saw. That I really wanted. And it was because of this goddamn cover. Look at that cover, man. Scary stuff for, God, what was I? 7? Anyway, my mom said no, that was that. And I craved this cover, like owning it my whole life. And when I got a little older, like in junior high, I was able to actually walk into a store and buy them myself. And when you opened up Fangoria, you could buy back issues out of it. And what happened was that kind of became the price guide of how to buy these things. And issue 9 sold out first. And Fantico Enterprises was another big company big enough company, a dealer that sold old Fangos, and they would sell them for certain prices, and it almost became the price guide for them. And issue 9 just started kind of going up in value at Fantico after it went out of the warehouse through Fangoria. And what happened was it went to $50 and then $75 and then $100 by, I'd say, about 1990. I think it was around $350, $400. I could be off on that a little bit, but I seem to remember it being in that high price. There were a few others that went up as well during this period that sold out very quick. But that was the number one. That was the book you wanted to get. And I still highly recommend it. The thing is, once eBay hit and we discovered what was what, we discovered that they really aren't all that rare comparatively to other issues around it. There are other issues that are quite a bit harder to get. But when you get into the high grade range, a lot of them become really rare, much rarer than issue 9. Saying that, it's issue 9. It's the book. To me, this will always be the number 1 most desirable book. To me. More out of nostalgia than anything. The next book that sold out really quickly was issue 10. This book's actually become quite common now, except for in the higher grades. It is difficult to get over an 8.0, but 9.4 and higher, which these two are, it's really difficult. So good luck on that. But yeah, it went up quite a bit too. It was another one of those like $100 issues for a while. So when I was a kid, I had a couple of these, but they were kind of banged up, just simply because I bought them at used bookstores. And so I thought I was a millionaire. A millionaire. These were worth more than most of my comics, and so I thought it was pretty cool. But the sad thing is, back in 1990, I don't know how I would have sold them at all. I don't even know who would have bought them where I lived. So another issue that was a bit of a key that sold out quickly was issue 12. Friday 13th Part 2 cover. God, this is when Fangoria really started to become a horror magazine. More of a gore, specializing in special effects. It became addictive to me. And what happened was, I bought issues 9 or 8 through 16 at a used bookstore, which were like some of the most expensive books when I was I was junior high. And I read through them obsessively. And I literally made a decision. I had this idea that I would become a makeup effects artist, and that would be that. And which parlayed into me doing a lot of makeup effects around Halloween and loving it and not being particularly great at it, but good enough. And then I realized that I should do something with it, and I made short films with it. And Fangoria really kind of showed me the way on that. And I got a Super 8 camera and started making all these short films and then a 16 mil camera. And then I got into the career of doing that. So it really was a big part of my life. But some of these books, this is another one that can be a little tougher to get in high grade. Again, it's the black cover, that nice Dragon Slayer cover. This is issue 13. So it's a little pricier. Now here's a book that I do have others, but this one is my nicest one. This one has become one of the major hard books for me to find. It did take me a while to get a good copy, and it's simply because it's a black cover, and the cover is kick-ass. It's the Halloween 2 issue. It's issue 15. This one, just some of the issues just go for more, and if you truly have a 9.4, they can go for quite a bit. So I highly recommend, if you're going to get into Fangoria's, go after these bigger ones a little bit quicker, because you'll find they are pretty tough to get. It's a fun way to collect, man, because you're not going to spend a ton of money and you're just going to get some cool books. And I just love what they look like in a miler. And I'm going to CGC most of these soon. It's just I got so many damn comics to do first. Issue 18 is another one that's sold out in the warehouse long ago, very quickly. And that it has been discovered since that it is still fairly hard to get in the higher grades. It's not as easy to find next to issue 17, per se. I don't know why. It just is. Maybe the print run was a little less. I just don't know. But anyway, it's Catwoman cover. Here's a copy that I think is, in my opinion, the rarest book. And I finally got a high-grade example of this book. And I looked for years. To me, this is the #1 hardest book to get, next to one other you'll see at the end. But this, out of the run I'm looking for, it's issue 22. The black cover, the Halloween 3 cover. Man, look at that cover. So cool. This was the first Fangoria I actually opened up and looked in at a grocery store, and I almost peed my pants. And it was pretty scary stuff. But, man, Creepshow, Friday 13th, Part 3 in 3D, Halloween 3. Man, it's just scary, fun stuff. And I just adored it. And but anyway, when I got back into collecting in the last 10 years, and looking for these kind of books, I thought, that the issue 9 would be hard. Man, my hair looks like hell. The issue 9 would be hard. The issue 1 would be a tough one to get. Those were easy, super easy. This one, man, I bought about 4 of these to get to this copy, just through, and they were cheap, like 15, 20 bucks, and they were all crap. But this one, I paid more than I want to admit for this. I paid about $120 for this because I wanted it so bad. And I had to go to a collector who specializes in these kind of magazines and knows what's what. And this was his secondary copy. Apparently he has one that's in better shape, which I can't believe because this thing is so primo. It's just beautiful. Another issue in that area that is actually quite hard to get in high grade is issue 20. I somehow acquired 3 of them. I was lucky finding these. It's a white cover, but it's also a Creepshow cover. One thing about these books is they're not just collected by collectors. They're collected by people who do research in film. They're makeup effects artists, like to go and look at articles about the effects guys. So certain issues are highly desirable just for the reading alone. And this happens to be one of them. And the next one especially. Which is great. You're going to see this one. Where do we got? Oh, here we go. This one is the Thing issue. Rob Bottin, The Thing. I mean, God, look at that cover. And I just love that they put the film strip on the bottom of the cover. It's just such a nerdy thing, but it's cool. Anyway, this issue is another one that goes for a few extra bucks. It's got a little bit of more of a peak as opposed to a valley. And what else we got here? Oh, this is one of my favorites. This is another one that's pretty tough to get in higher grades. And I ended up getting a Manitoba copy, actually, from Doug Salipa out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. And Manitobas are actually really nice. And this thing is incredible. It's the Evil Dead, the original. I think it's desirable simply because Evil Dead's on the cover and people collect that sort of thing. But on top of it is a Fangoria issue. It's a dark cover, highly read because of the Evil Dead, so it is difficult to get in high grade. And I'm very fortunate to have a couple copies just over the years was able to snag them. And I may grade both. I don't know. We'll see. What else do we got here? Ooh, this is a neat one. This is another one that's a little tougher to get. Issue 27. Again, it's those dark covers, right? Anytime there's a dark cover, you're just kind of screwed. And this one took a while to find in this shape. So, The Burning is the cover. I don't know if any of you guys saw that slasher film when I was a kid. I love slasher films, and this was a pretty big one on my list. If you watch the movie, there's a bunch of odd, big actors in that movie now. What do we got here? We've got an issue 29, Gates of Hell. This is actually a pretty common issue, not really worth that much. You should be able to pick this up for $15. I just think it's a cool cover, but could you imagine bringing that home to your mom when you were like 13? Ugh, man, I had some arguments when I was a kid. Whew. But anyway, I had to hide these things. That's why most of them look like shit. Anyway, what else we got here? We've got, here's an interesting thing. I got another Manitoba collection thing that's just a primo copy. It's issue 36. This was another copy of that went, sold out of the Starlog / Fangoria warehouses. So it became kind of more of a rarer book. Is it rare? It seems to be a little bit compared to other stuff. It's definitely rare and high grade. This Manitoba copy happens to be primo. It's really nice. I'm really impressed with it. I'm very happy with this book, no question. But it's Friday the 13th Part 4. Huge fan of the Friday the 13th series. I'm a big nerd for that kind of stuff. Here's another book, issue 37. This is another one, Joe Dundee's Gremlins. This is a tougher one to get as well. It's just happens. This is another one of those warehouse things. This one is an odd one. It's a really nice copy, but I've got a little bit of a ding there, which pisses me off because I want perfect copies. And I'm kind of OCD with this sort of thing. So I will probably not send this one into CGC because it's probably only a 9294. I want to go see if I can find a better one. And I think a book like this, I can find it. I'm in no rush. So anyway, Fangoria 37. Okay, I said before that issue 22 was the toughest one to get. It really was a difficult book to get. But the true most difficult book for me in true pristine condition, as pristine as I could possibly find, was this one. It's kind of like an annual. Fangoria every year would release the bloody best of Fangoria. And this is issue 1. And these were the best articles of the year, all put into one book. And as a kid, that was pretty great, because you probably wouldn't get all the issues. And anyway, the black cover, it's, man, this book, I started looking for this in the 90s in high grade. I've never seen one ever in this kind of shape. And I was able to buy this off the CGC forums, off a collector there, who was very generous to me and very helpful, and he sold me some really nice books. But this was one of them, and I cannot believe how nice a copy this was. When it showed up, it was like I heard harps, and choir voices, and heavenly light came down on me. This was a find. The funny thing is that I guess if I got a 9.8 on this, it might be worth something, but really, even if I was just throw this raw on eBay and say it was near mint, I might get $40 for it. It's really not. That's the fun thing about collecting these, is they're kind of cheap. You can really buy these for nothing. I do think there's a future in them. I think people are going to start paying attention to them. That's just a theory I have. Here's another one. I think I mentioned this in my last video. The postcard issue. This one's perfect. It's like as perfect as it gets. I spent, again, 20, 30 years looking for this one. Again, it's a nothing book, but my God, do I have such love for it. It just brings back, it just floods me with memories. Okay, what else we got? Well, I just got a couple other magazines here. I don't know why. I guess we're out of Fangoria'S. I'm just going to show you a few more here. I showed this on the last one. This is Deep Red. It's kind of like a Fangoria, but for more indie stuff, and like Giallo films from like, but Fanago did it, and I talked about Fanago as well. They do like Gore Shriek and things like that. This is a really great series. They're very hard to get in high grade, incredibly difficult. One of these is high grade, but the other one has a rusty staple I discovered, but it's perfect in every other way. But this one's going to CGC, no question. I love this book, and that cover is just kind of cool. But it's kind of more of a fanzine, and it's not for everyone's taste, but it's definitely my taste. I love it. I don't know why I have a bunch of these. Oh, look at this. That's cool. Why is this here? It's the Vampirella special. Soft cover, not the hardcover. But the soft cover is kind of rare. It's kind of a tough book to get. I don't know why I have this here. It just happens to be here. Anyway, I recommend getting this. It's a cool one. I like Vampirella. I'm a big Warren guy. At some point, I'll do a Famous Monsters of Filmland video and show you my collection of that. I've been buying those since they were garbage, and people used to yell at me and go, "You're buying garbage. No one should buy that. It's worthless." And it turned out pretty well for me because, I got a full run, and I'm pretty happy. Famous Monsters of Filmland are awesome. But again, that's another video. I don't know why this is in here, but it's nice, creepy. I got this from a dealer named Jigglypig in Western Canada. He is awesome. Look up Jigglypig on IG. He's awesome. Chad Stewart, he's a really nice guy. This is an issue 4 Frazetta cover. It's Frazetta. I mean, I really don't have to say anything else. It's the only reason anyone's got one, right? Frazetta. God. Anyway, I just grabbed that off him. It's really nice. I showed this before as well. It's the Monsters Price Guide. It's from the 70s, and, it's got that Bernie Wrightson cover, which is my favorite piece of Bernie Wrightson art ever. It's the cross-hatching on it is just incredible. I miss this Bernie Wrightson. He just stopped doing this stuff. But this is 1975, so it's pretty interesting to look through. It talks about Famous Monsters of Filmland, all these little esoteric videos, magazines as well. What else do I got here? Weird. Hey. Oh, just, I don't know why this stacks here. Just a portfolio of Bernie Wrightson stuff. I don't know. A buddy of mine bought this for me, Greg Gurr. He snags the odd thing. He knows I'm a huge Wrightson fan. But it's a cool little, I think they probably sold this at San Diego Comic-Con. But the final thing, somebody wanted me to show this. I do artwork in the film industry. It's a thing I do. And I don't really do a lot of published artwork. It's not very lucrative for me, and but I would like to do more as I get older. But I kind of dabble in it here and there. But I did I'm a huge Godzilla nut, and so I did a cover for G-Fan, and this is my homage to Godzilla issue 1, but more of with a 90s feel. So it's my kind of thing. Anyway, that's Godzilla. I drew that, and I have a copy on a Mylar, and I wanted to show that to everyone. I drew that. So, but yeah, that's what I do for a living. I draw a lot, and I do stuff for the CW shows and things like that. And I'm, very fortunate to do that. But that's my video about Fangoria magazines. I do have another video I'm probably going to do about later issues, because there's a lot of esoteric ones between issue 40 and 100. Weird stories behind all of it. But these magazines mean a lot to me. They're a big deal. There's other magazines as well, like Starlog and Cinefantastique. I love them all, and really, I mean, if you were to collect them, they're just they're beautiful covers, and you can get really nice near mint copies for cheap if you can find them, and it's such a fun collecting thing to do. You don't have to outlay a lot of money, but you have to hunt. And the hunt is really what we're here for, isn't it, as collectors? And I just adore it. I just find it so cool. But anyway, I'm gonna call it a day. I have plenty of comic stuff coming too. Okay, so let's talk comics on my next little hit, probably in a few days. So you guys stay cool, and hit me up on IG, Vancouver Comic Junkie. Like and subscribe if you haven't done that yet. That would help. I'm trying to grow this a bit. I'm trying to do a little bit more regular stuff here in between gigs at work. And it's slowly but surely happening. And if you guys have suggestions for other videos, I collect a lot of different horror type stuff as well. But comics are definitely my main focus, as you guys have probably noticed. I love me some comics. Anyway, you guys have a great one. Talk to you soon.
See you later.